Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your November monthly reading, okay? I felt the need to do water signs first, and it's interesting because I was going to say Cancer, but I'm like, wait, it's Scorpio season. So we're going to do Scorpio first, okay? So I hope you guys are doing well. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay, you guys be sure to like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe, you guys. Make sure you go with your own intuition. Okay, first and foremost, no matter what I say, your intuition is paramount in these times, in all times really, but specifically in the times that we're in. Don't bring anything into your life that does not belong, you guys. I don't want you to do that. If there's anything you need to know, it's going to be in the description box below. All right, and we're going to keep the energy flowing. So let's see for Scorpio, guardian angels, archangels, spirit guides, and ancestors of the highest vibration, Father, Mother, God. What is the message for Scorpio? What does Scorpio need to know in regards to November? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I don't think I am. Okay. What is the message for Scorpio? What do they need to know for November, Spirit? Okay, we have pet. Some of you could be getting a pet. Some of you could be very close to your pet. Okay, your pet may want your attention. Seems very minute, but there's a lot that goes along with that, because this could be about loyalty. This could be about companionship. This could also be about codependency for some of you guys, depending on your situation. A pet may benefit you at this time, or your pet could be trying to communicate something with you that could be connected to a larger situation. All right, and they may not be able to talk to you, but they may be communicating with you in other ways. We have celebration, okay? So maybe you guys had some type of plans for your birthday, whether your birthday is coming up or it's past or wherever we are with that. Scorpio, I feel like this month is a month where you're being asked to celebrate yourself. You're being asked to celebrate those people who've been loyal to you, and enjoy your celebration with those people, and really understand how important of a time this is, right? Like a lot of times we focus on the negative, and it's just a natural thing. It doesn't mean anything is wrong with you, but it's just a natural thing that we tend to do, is to focus on the negative things that are happening in our lives. And we kind of glaze over or skip over or fast forward through the good things. And Spirit doesn't want you to do that, okay? We also have daughter. Interesting. So some of you guys, listen, if you have a daughter already, it may benefit you to get a pet if you don't already have one. Or you may notice, if you already have a pet and you already have a daughter, that maybe, or even a child for some of you guys, that your child is connecting a lot with your pet. I feel like also this could be speaking about your inner child, especially for you who have feminine origins, okay? You may be called on a more deeper level to celebrate your inner child and celebrate how far you've come, all right? There's a sense that someone needs you, or there could be a person here who is dependent upon you at this time, specifically in November. We'll see what more we get from this, okay? Because I'm not exactly sure where this is going. But we're going to figure it out, because you know I always do. All right? What else, Spirit, for Scorpio in November? We have isolation. Look at that, a teddy bear. Another kind of childlike image. It says isolation, so it's rejected, left alone, self-inflicted. Interesting. So, I don't know. Antisocial. Look at that. So you may be craving companionship. For some of you guys, you may be wanting to connect with the people who you love the most. Some of you guys may feel like there's a lack of companionship in your life. There could be a lack of, camaraderie amongst the people who you feel connected to. You may feel very distant from people who you've had a close connection with. This could also be a situation, okay, where some of you guys are feeling like it's necessary to isolate yourself right now, or to be a little bit less social with people who you're close to, because you may be finding that people have been wanting to kind of like hang on to you or hang on to your energy, especially since it's your birthday season. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, whatever we feel we need to do in the time that we feel we need to do it is something that I feel a lot of us are being shown. Okay. Spirit is showing us the ways that we may often put our own needs or desires or feelings to the side, neglecting them in favor of other people. And right now, I feel like there's a lot that you're thinking about your childhood. A lot of things, a lot of themes and scenarios and memories from your childhood could be coming back up, especially if you have a child. Not just if you have a child, but especially if you are raising a young innovator, a young star, or just a young person who has some type of influence that they gain from you, maybe a niece, a nephew, a cousin. You guys could be being brought back to a lot of the feelings that you felt when you were younger because of these situations. This could just be an individual thing as well, where, you know, you're reflecting on how far you've come, where you've been. But the antisocial card says, in your feelings, silent treatment, left out. And then we have longing, missing you, let's talk, reunion. So yeah, for some of you guys, there could be a person here who you haven't really socialized with, or you haven't really had as close of a connection with them as you may have had in the past lately. And they may be feeling the absence of your energy. And for those of you who know who I'm talking about, or, you know, you may have an inkling of who I'm talking about, you might want to just be mindful of how much you allow yourself to connect with them in this time, because they may be picking up on the fact that you are antisocial or kind of isolating yourself, and they may energetically want to get into your space, and that may not be something that your spirit team advises. This could also be a situation where you just feel isolated. You may feel a lack of connection, and you may be in a very vulnerable position, right? Where people who you know, or maybe people who you don't know, could encroach upon your sacred space in a way that could turn into something codependent, right? I just feel like overall, though, Spirit wants you to celebrate companionship and, you know, understand the benefits of it in your life, but also have balance and understand how too much of a good thing can also be negative if you don't balance it properly, okay? What else for Scorpio? What else does Scorpio need to know, Spirit? Oh my God. Yeah, despair. What is this? Wow. So are you guys feeling left out? Like, did somebody make you feel left out? Did they do it on purpose? Did they do it by accident? Like, what is going on? You may be wanting to include someone in something because you feel like they've been left out. Some of you may be longing for a connection that like makes you feel incorporated or included in the celebration, right? It kind of gives this vibe where you're in a room full of people, but you still feel alone. And I'm not sure if that's all of you or some of you, or if this is a reflection of someone in your life, but that's the vibe that it's giving. Courtship, which is number 4. Despair is 32, which is a 5. And it's talking about feeling isolated or kind of being rejected, either in a professional situation or in a club or group of people. And then look, the child, 18. Interesting. That's a 9. Okay, so I have to say specifically that some of you guys may have a daughter specifically, or a child in general, who maybe, I don't think they're getting bullied, but they may be feeling disconnected from their peers. This feels like a young child, but you never know. They could be feeling disconnected from their peers, or they may find it difficult to talk to people or meet people, maybe because they're very intuitive. You know, they could be very gifted spiritually, and they don't feel as connected to their peers because they have this insight into the spiritual realms, which I feel like a lot of us have experienced when we were young. Again, this could be something that you're reflecting back on about your own childhood, because possibly you could have been in a situation where it was difficult when you were young to make friends. And now as an adult, you may feel that lack of connection. You may feel that disconnection from your peers, people your age. You may connect with people who are older than you. You may connect with people who are younger than you, but it's just indicative of kind of like the spiritual battles that you may have faced over time. I feel like you guys are getting to know someone, or you're meeting people who you feel connected to. Like, there's a reason why you guys were brought together, but maybe you're not sure how to connect the dots. Maybe you're not sure how it relates. There are cheersing here, glasses of wine, and then the celebration card is here. You may just be getting this vibe that maybe after your birthday celebration, you're ready to kind of like take a little breather, okay, from people. Take a step back, focus on your family, your loved ones, possibly your child. And that could be making someone else feel like isolated, making them feel like they miss you. But I feel like what's most important, though, for all of us is to find balance and not only consider others, but also consider ourselves, put ourselves in a position of the forefront. If we feel like there are certain things, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually that we have to deal with. Okay. I think Mercury retrograde is coming up too. So take that with a grain of salt. What else for Scorpio? Spirit. Within reason on your end, reasonable request concerns expectations and reactions. So if something is happening where you're not sure if you're reacting in a balanced way, Spirit is reassuring you that you are. If you feel like you're being shut out or disincluded by a group of people or by a particular person, I feel like you're reasonable to feel that way. Your reaction, your sense of what's going on in the situation is a reasonable response to what you're experiencing with someone. And you guys could be feeling like you're purposefully being maybe quote unquote punished or left out or isolated by people. Be mindful of people this month who want to make it about them all the time, because it kind of feels like you could be in a situation where like it's your birthday season. It's finally supposed to be about you. And there's someone here who's codependent on you who wants to make it about them in a time where this is not, it's like, I hear you saying to someone, it's not about you. It's not about you. For once, realize that it's not about you, right? And I feel like that's an important theme that Spirit wants you to maintain awareness of this month. This could be a situation where somebody could be purposely trying to leave you out of something. And it takes you back to times in your childhood where you can kind of harken back and remember this happened before, right? At the bottom, we have quality time. All of this is about connection and companionship. So it says attentive, chivalrous, getting to know you, putting in effort, deep connection. So you're putting in the effort. I feel like you're putting yourself out there with the courtship card. I just feel that there could be a situation where you've been really loyal and trustworthy. You've been a good friend. You've been a good sister, brother, mother, father, child, a good companion, a good worker, someone who's qualified, someone who is, diligent when it comes to what you do, bringing positivity to a situation, very loyal to people, but there may not be a lot that you're getting back from that in return, when all you want is a friend or someone who you can lean on sometimes, or maybe someone you can bounce ideas off of. Yeah. I also feel like if someone has treated you in a way that's very dismissive and now they're kind of like missing you because you've pulled your energy back, I feel like you're within your reasonable reactions to maybe want to separate from this person or kind of put a boundary up with your energy. Okay. We have take action at the back. Interesting. right? So I feel like there's something that, Spirit wants you to feel reassured about when it comes to making decisions about moving forward, like how you move forward, the choices that you make. There's a level of innocence here that I feel like energetically is pulsating through the near future, right? With the child card and the daughter card, it's okay if you miss someone. It's okay if you long for their energy. It's okay if you want to be around them. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. Like, this month is not a month where your spirit team wants you to be overly critical of yourself and like your feelings and your emotions and the different, sentiments that may pop up. You're within reason to feel that way, okay? Some of you may have recently gone on a job interview and didn't get the job. So you may feel left out. You may feel like, well, maybe I'm questioning myself. You could be thinking, am I qualified? Is there something wrong with me? Whether it's a friendship, a personal relationship, or maybe something professional like an interview. Maybe you wanted a raise or a promotion, a bonus. You spoke to your manager and they denied it. Or you tried to get a new job and put in your application, but you didn't get any callbacks, or you went on an interview and maybe you didn't get chosen for the job. I feel like everything that's going on this month about loyalty and companionship and like feelings of relationships, they're highlighting something that happened when you were a child, when you were young, and when you experienced these feelings before, right? People who may not have been happy for you the way that you were happy for yourself. People who may not have included you the way that you would have wanted to include them. This is what's being brought up here for you to kind of think about in this month. And also to forgive yourself for, because I feel like the way you feel is reasonable, right? Especially if somebody's been trying to make you feel like you're overreacting or something like that, okay? So what is the situation? Good gracious. Page of Swords. Okay, asking questions. These are important questions that need to be asked, okay? Really looking at the truth of what's going on, doing research, investigating, finding information that could have been possibly buried. Something that could have been in the recesses of your mind that you, pushed down or shoved aside, that now you're being kind of forced to pay attention to, okay? The Nine of Pentacles here and the Tower. Wow. So there's something that you're doing independently, something that you're doing on your own. You're very mysterious right now. There's a lot about you, Scorpio, that is very mysterious. And I feel like there's some unexpected information that you will find either about yourself or about situations going on in your life this month. Could be pretty shocking. All right. It could change your belief systems. It could change the way you see yourself, the way you look at your life, the perspective that you have about relationships. It looks like that's the focus, right? It could even change the way you view children or childhood in a very monumental way. There's something that you've been prepared for. This moment, whatever's happening in November, is something that you've been prepared for when it comes to everything that's happened in your life. Everything that you've been through has led up to this moment where you're going to have this like epiphany because something needs to change, and the energy is forcing either you to change or for you to evaluate your situations to see where you need to make changes in your life. This is not a bad thing. This is your energy. So some of you could even be finding out about someone's behavior or someone's treatment towards you, and it could cause you to kind of explode. So just be mindful, because somebody may have really pissed you off in this situation, okay? What is the Page of Swords? Wow, okay. The Lovers, Gemini energy. The Nine of Swords, more Gemini energy. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, and the Ten of Wands, possibly Sagittarius. You could be having some burdens or feeling burdened or anxious about like some type of fear that you have regarding a decision that you need to make, or someone who you're interested in romantically. Some of you guys have a person who has kind of like cut off communication with you recently. Maybe you haven't heard from them in a while. And you could be really nervous about what's going on with them. This could be how they feel about you as well. It feels like someone is discovering the need that they have for independence and to be, to have their own identity. That's what, I don't know if this is an identity crisis per se, but like if you're in a relationship with someone and maybe you guys are still getting to know each other, maybe you just met, maybe you've been in a relationship for quite some time. There's something going on this month that reinforces your desire or their desire to have a certain level of independence and self-identity, right? Which could mean like they need time alone or they need to be on their own. And I feel like this is causing some type of stress for the parties involved, right? So if you feel like someone is very clingy or you feel like someone is codependent on you, like I said in the beginning, you may be like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. They're stressing me out. And I thought I wanted this relationship because I thought I was romanticizing it. But in reality, I'm not really sure if that's what I want now that I'm in it, right? That could be how someone else is feeling about you. And either it's like you're realizing that this independence and this self-identity is something that you really need and that you need someone who's going to understand that about you, or you could be realizing that, you know, maybe a person who needs that self-identity and needs that independent time, you know, and maybe they don't communicate it in an effective way to you is someone who you don't need to be with, right? So either you need the independence or they need the independence, but there's something about it where it's like, it's not connecting. It's not meshing. King of Cups and the Emperor. This could be another Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. It could also be an Aries or possibly a Taurus. Gemini is out here as well. It's like you're ruminating. It feels like you're reflecting this month and really ruminating on your thoughts and your feelings and things that have been on your mind. There could also be a choice that you have to make. It doesn't have to be about love, but there could just be a choice in general that you have to make in your life, and you feel like you have to make a diplomatic decision, but you also may have to make a decision that hurts another person or puts another person at a detriment. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything huge, but it feels like there's a conundrum that you might be facing about what the right thing to do is, right? I feel like you could be feeling burdened because you're kind of worried or anxious about what could happen when you make this choice. And you know you have to make a decision. You know you can't wait too long to make a decision. There's some type of urgency with this that I feel like you can feel, and that's palatable. And I feel like it's valid. There is urgency here. But, you know, the Emperor is not always loved and appreciated, okay? Because the Emperor has to make big decisions that other people may not have to make, and that other people don't necessarily understand because of the gravity of those decisions. And it feels to me like you, with the Nine of Pentacles showing up with the Page of Swords, really need to think about this month, even if it's small decisions, whether it's big or small. It's like Spirit wants to remind you to put your needs first, right? Like they don't want you to be completely selfish and unreasonable to the other people involved in situations, but they want you to keep in mind that you have to make decisions based off of the reasoning on your end first, because, you know, especially if you're a parent, your child can't survive or sustain themselves. Like you can't provide for them if you make decisions that are only focused on their best interest and their needs. You can't pour from an empty cup. So whether that's someone who is very childish, whether that's someone who is literally a child, whether that's someone who is codependent on you in some way, you have to have enough in reserve. You have to have enough in your savings to sustain yourself before you can help anyone else. right? And that's something that a lot of people don't like to hear about, especially in the spiritual community, because it's all love and light and beauty and giving and give of yourself and sacrifice. But sometimes that shit ain't realistic. And when it boils down to the crux of the situation, you know, none of us can help any of us. None of us can help each other if we don't learn how to help ourselves. People can't love other people until they learn how to love themselves. And it's just that's what it is. So I feel like you guys are very protective right now over the people who you love and care about. You want to look out for their best interests. And I think that's where the dilemma or the conundrum is coming in, because you're trying to figure out how to also look out for yourself. Okay. Now, what's hidden this month that you may not see? The Knight of Cups. So you may be getting an offer, a proposal, a proposition coming in that you're going to have to consider. Okay, with the Knight of Cups, the Moon card, you could be dealing with a Cancer for some of you guys. But you don't see there's something going on underneath the surface when it comes to your feelings, like how you feel about situations, how the things happening in your life affect you on an independent level. There could also be some type of feelings that are resurfacing about being single or being independent, being on your own. People possibly calling you selfish when really you were rational, okay, in choosing yourself. A Cancer could be involved here, maybe even a Pisces. There's definitely a lot of water energy just for everybody. But this could even be about fears of doing things by yourself, doing things on your own, and then realizing that you can do it. Okay, like you actually can, and that you've been afraid to do it for so long because there could have been influences that prompted you into having fear about, you know, being independent or being on your own. What's this Knight of Cups for Scorpio? Y'all be sure to like the video, guys. Thank you. Oh, see? Influences. Manipulation. The Magician. There could be a Gemini, an Aries, possibly even another Scorpio, or any sign really, honestly, that could be doing something behind the scenes to manipulate your feelings or emotions, to possibly make you feel obligated to help them. That energy has been coming out a lot, you guys, a lot. Okay. And they could be longing for connection with you that they had before, where you maybe gave too much, right? I feel like Spirit wants you to be mindful of this. Be very mindful of this. Okay. Because like this could be a father figure with the Emperor energy. This could be an older masculine. This could be a boss or a manager at your job. Like, you know, someone making you feel bad because, oh my God, like, can you work overtime and you're tired as fuck and you're trying to think about your own needs and how you need to go home and rest your feet. But they're like, oh my God, I don't have anybody such and such called off on their shift. And, you know, maybe in the past you were like, hey, I got you. You know, it's cool. I got you. I'll stay like an extra hour, 2 hours to help you out. But now it's like you're completely drained, possibly, and you don't feel like doing that shit. And they're like, oh my God, the same song and dance. But you're like, dang, I want to help them, but I want to also help myself because this is, you know, a time where I'm feeling more depleted, or I just feel over stimulated possibly as well. Some of you guys may have ADHD, ADD, you know. I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or a psychologist. The disclaimer is below, but I'm just saying, right? You could be feeling overstimulated and you're like, I can't talk to no more customers today because I might reach through the phone and slap a bitch. Or I might reach over this counter and knock somebody out. You got to pay attention to that, because I feel like somebody could be trying to manipulate your emotions into agreeing with what they want you to do, or saying yes to a question, saying yes to a proposal, or saying yes to some type of proposition that they're presenting to you when you really don't want to say yes. Okay. The Seven of Pentacles at the bottom and the Seven of Wands. Look, that's a warning. Okay. That someone could be manipulating the situation, trying to cast illusions over the truth, trying to cause you to have doubt about what you really want. Because the other sevens are the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups. And this is something where, you know, invasions of privacy, invasions of boundaries, invasions of space are something that your spirit team really doesn't want you to tolerate. Okay. You could definitely be waiting for something to take place, especially with this magician. It doesn't have to be all bad, because I feel like there's a level of what's hidden that has to do with something good that's happening for you when you realize your strength. It feels like you've been investing a lot of time and energy and effort behind the scenes into really finishing something that you start, or being very determined about accomplishing a particular goal. You've been working really hard, and it may even be a situation where that you've been putting a lot of energy into what you want to create. And you may feel like you're neglecting other people, but this is just a time where you feel called to focus on what you need. So I feel like also what's hidden is that the work and the effort that you're putting in is going to lead to a really positive result where you're more financially independent, where you have more energy. This could be you working out. This could be you starting a business. This could be you pouring into whatever it is that you feel your heart's desire is and what you want to achieve. But it's leading from the 7 of Pentacles to the 9 of Pentacles ultimately. And that's what you don't see. That all of this effort is actually going to pay off and pay out. I almost said, okay, peep game. And I feel like they want you to stick to your strategy when it comes to making choices. And those choices may need to be a little selfish right now when it comes to what you have to do and what it's going to require for you to basically accomplish these goals. Okay, so let's give us a little space because, message. Give Scorpios a little space, people. I don't mind if you cross watch, but just know that, you got to be mindful that if Scorpio has a good reading and you don't like the Scorpio, you can't be up in here mad at me. I'm just a messenger. Okay. Deal with your feelings. All right. Because if you're going to cross watch, you got to do it at your own risk. I don't have a problem with it, but don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at Scorpios who are our people. Because if you're watching Scorpio's reading, you have to remember the Scorpios that are also watching this reading. Don't be mad. Okay. Because their good news may not be the good news of your hater if your hater is a Scorpio, right? I just have to say that disclaimer, I guess, because there must be some cross watchers in here. Scorpio, you got some people in the building observing you, okay? There could definitely be an Aries, a Taurus, a Gemini specifically, possibly even a Sagittarius, Cancer, Aquarius, Pisces, who's observing you when it comes to what it is that you're doing right now, what you're putting your energy into right now. Okay. Doesn't mean that they're all enemies or that you're the enemy of anyone who's cross-watching. It is what it is. Okay. Point blank. Now, for advice, Spirit, what is Scorpio's advice? Ooh, 4 of Cups. Make sure you're showing gratitude for everything. That is something so serious right now. It came out in the collective reading. So if you did not watch my most recent collective reading, I think the thumbnail said Breaking Point, and the title was about the stormy weather. Yeah, I just posted that recently. I actually just filmed it right before this video. Took a little break in between, but I digress. Basically, what Spirit is wanting you to know is like they don't want you to overlook opportunities. They don't want you to overlook someone who's actually there to help and support you. They don't want you to be so afraid of like where you're going in life to miss signs, synchronicities, helpers in human form or spiritual form. They want you to see everything for what it is and not be upset about wherever you are right now in life. Because if you get sidetracked or distracted by, little rejections or big rejections that are part of the bigger picture, and you look at them from like a negative perspective, you may not see the blessing in disguise. You may not see the silver lining. You could possibly miss the protection that's coming from said rejection. Okay. The 5 of Wands, and the 6 of Cups. So I just feel like Spirit kind of wants you to avoid, Scorpio, any type of conflict, competition, comparison to other people, comparing yourself, comparing your progress to other people's progress. It's like they just want you to make sure that you keep your eyes on the prize. Okay? Keep your eyes on the prize. Focus on what it is that you need to focus on. And make sure that you're maintaining balance not only for others, but for yourself when it comes to the decisions that you make. Because somebody could be aggressively like wanting to slow you down or cause you to have fear about where it is that you're going, you know, especially if you're leaving a job. Like some of you could be quitting a job and wanting to branch out and start your own business, or, you know, you could be leaving a relationship behind, or rejecting someone when it comes to like spending time with them, being their friend, whatever it may be. And these people, specifically people mostly from your past, but even people who have residual energy that reminds you of the past, these people could be very confrontational and defensive about the choices that you're making for yourself. And your spirit team does not want you to allow that noise to distract you from what it is that you see for your future, and, you know, kind of cause you to forget why you're doing the things that you're doing. Okay. Because somebody's angry that you're rejecting them, or there's a person who's rejecting you on purpose, or a situation that you're feeling rejected from that I feel like is purposeful to make you kind of like regress back to a childhood trauma. That's what it feels like to me. Okay. What is this Four of Cups for advice for Scorpio spirit? Thank you, Page of Pentacles. So yeah, there's a rejection that you're going to get. That's good news. Good news. You're rejected. Good. Dodged a bullet. Okay. That was a get out of jail free card. That was a golden ticket, bitch. I'm just letting you know. Golden ticket. Page of Pentacles. You gonna be, I just heard, I got a golden ticket. Somebody's name could be Charlie, Charles. Okay. The Chariot, CH, could be significant. Cancer energy. Okay. Some of you guys are getting something. Some of you guys are earning extra money this month that you're going to be able to invest in, like a vehicle or traveling or taking a trip or some type of forward progress when it comes to your priorities, paying off bills, paying off debt. There's a vehicle or a mode of transportation, either spiritually or literally, that is moving you forward really quickly. And you're getting good signs that this is either coming, happening, or that it was for a reason. But it's also like causing competition, people to feel threatened by you. Okay. People to have a problem with your choice to possibly say no, or people having a problem with you getting a yes, right? People purposefully trying to close doors in your face to make you feel bad. I feel like your spirit team wants you to understand how important it is for you to continue to push forward. Not to drain yourself or burn yourself out, but to continue to keep your eyes on the prize. That is a strong message that I keep getting. Okay. There could also be someone here that could be specifically a Cancer, or maybe a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, possibly Aries. I don't know, Gemini. It feels like there's a person here who's specifically coming towards you really quickly to tell you about some good news that they got or something that they received, to remind you of how rejected you are, or to remind you of the accomplishments that you haven't made yet, right? Like, that's a way that people can covertly, which means underneath the surface, versus overtly, which means over the surface. That's a way that people can covertly compete with you or try to force you into some level of competition. Okay. And I need you to be aware of that, because it's like when you hear other people's good news, it's actually a good sign. And even if they intend on trying to bring you down, you can reframe it. You can alchemize it, and you can be the magician that you are, and dictate how you're going to feel about the situation, no matter how somebody tries to make you feel, right? Because a person could be coming towards you to be a fucking asshole, but you, sirens outside, okay? But you are being reminded by spirit that you are the magician in your own life. You are the main character, and you have the power to decide whether you allow someone's sneaky, funky behavior and manipulation to affect you, right? If they're breaking up with you to make you feel bad on your birthday, be like, bitch, thank you. You did me a favor. Now I'm free. If they don't want to hire you for the job, Thank you. You did me a favor, because more than likely that's a sign that you wouldn't have been happy there. If they're telling you about their good news and it's in an effort to like sneak dish you and bring you down about what you haven't accomplished, it's like, yeah, thank you. Because if there's good things happening to you, I know mine is going to be just as great, if not greater. Okay. And that's what Spirit wants you to remember, is to stay loyal to who you really are. Don't let other people outside of you change you, and keep your eyes on the prize. Now, is there anything else for Scorpio that they need to know about when it comes to November, Spirit? Ooh, death. An ending. That's your energy, though. A situation that is coming to an end. This could actually be a funeral. Okay. You are going through a transformation. Death to the old you. So the version of yourself where people were able to trigger your childhood trauma, your childhood wounds, trigger your, past life regressions to come back up. Those days are over and done with. Okay. There could be someone passing, or there could be a death or a very difficult ending that you don't really see coming. I feel like you could find out about something that's very shocking. And you may be alone when you find out, and it could make you feel very isolated. So make sure that you reach out to the appropriate parties if you need support or help with a difficult situation, so that they can help you. But that's kind of like the vibe of this time. Okay. Deadline says a deadline is approaching. Also, a deadline could be missed. Interesting. I feel also that Spirit is kind of attempting to remind you to let sleeping dogs lie. Okay. Which means let it be what it is. Knowledge says you may be getting light of some situation that you have been going through. Things are going to start making sense. And that was the Tower card in the beginning. It feels kind of like you're going to have some type of epiphany. Okay. You might want to listen to that album by T-Pain, because he did have an album named Epiphany. The theme of the album, or the energy of the album, could give you insight into how it maybe connects or relates to your situation. Yeah, the moon. There could be a secret. Some of you could be finding out that someone you love passed away and no one told you. Okay. This could be news that is kind of challenging, but also meant to, I feel, help you see yourself more clearly, even though it may be kind of difficult. But overall, I think the month is really informative with that knowledge card. Okay. The Emperor and the Page of Cups. So this could be an older masculine, either Aries, Taurus, or Cancer, who, I don't know. It just feels like they're involved somehow. I'm not sure exactly how. Okay. There could be an older person who longs for connection with you. This could be a father figure or someone who you haven't talked to in a long time. Okay, let me get one more card, because that was a little confusing. What's the moon? King of Pentacles. See, it's a masculine. Strong Taurus energy, possibly Capricorn, Virgo, or Aries. Maybe Cancer. Ooh, wow. The King of Swords. Air. The Ace of Wands. Okay. So this is a masculine who wants to communicate with you about something new that they could be starting, or this could even be somebody who is attracted to you, who comes in and kind of acts as a sign or a harbinger for your old situations finally being done. Yeah, someone's time has run out because someone new is coming in. Or like the time that you spent thinking about a situation or thinking about a person is finally coming to an end, because there's some type of new information that I feel is helping you take control of your emotions. Yeah, that's the knowledge. I feel like it's going to be clarity. I feel like it's going to be something really beneficial for you to actually like move on from whatever has been going on in your life. Like, this may not have even been a recent passing. This could be the passing of someone that happened years ago. This could be the loss of a job that created a monumental change in your life that happened years ago. Or it could be something that's more recent. But there's definitely information that you're gaining this month that's helping you, I feel, not to be so stressed about something. And it's like this light bulb moment that's going off. Okay. But don't forget, Keep your eye on the prize, Scorpio. What's the advice for Scorpio spirit? We have awakening. Look at that. Awakening is the process of discovering your true self. Yes. So authentically, without any, impositions or without any extra fluff. Finding out who it is you really are, realizing who it is you really are since you were young. Okay. Freedom comes from inner liberation. Yeah. This could even be somebody like who's telling you, hey, I'm sorry for how I made you feel because I was acting out. It wasn't actually your fault. I rejected you because I was feeling XYZ way. And I just want you to know that it wasn't about you. It was my issue that I had to deal with. And that could bring you a lot of peace. It feels like you're gaining some type of peace through an epiphany. Okay. Collaboration achieves greater goals. Yeah, and this is about like companionship, camaraderie, working together with others, not feeling like you have to do everything on your own. Realizing that collaboration could be beneficial for you because you need, it's like people think that they can be by themselves and, they talk about independence and being single, and that's definitely useful, right? Because you don't want to be codependent, but anything in excess is an extreme. It's a mind fuck. Anything that you do too much of could cause a problem. No matter what side of the scale you're on. If you're too far into any extreme of a situation and you're lacking balance, it could create a problem. So if you're around too many people who are codependent and you don't have enough you time, that will create a problem. If you're too isolated and you don't, pour into your relationships or friendships, that could create a problem as well. And I feel like this month is about you really trying to find that balance, Scorpio. And, that's what I have. I feel like that's the message. So I hope this helped you guys. Y'all be sure to like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe. My voice is cracking. I apologize. Interesting. This could be about your throat chakra as well. But you guys, if you felt that this reading was extra motivational or you gained something really positive from it and you want to go the extra mile, please consider donating through PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. It's really helpful, you guys. Be sure to check out my services if you're interested. Get in the comments. Let me know if it resonated. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. All right. See you next time. Bye.